Good morning, all. Dr. Jared here, continuing our discussion of the paleocardiologist, finishing up chapter 16 of Dr. Wolfson's top 20 supplements. So again, for those of you that are reading the book, please refer to the last 10 supplements. We're going to cover 4 of them today, and then also cover why calcium is not a supplement that you likely want to take. So again, for those that watching for the first time, book The Paleocardiologist by Dr. Jack Wolfson. I'm commenting we have a group of several hundred people that are reading and growing from this. And my goal with these daily posts is to simplify the message or really point out what I think is most valuable, because ultimately our goal is to empower you to have the best life and health possible. So to kind of kick off here with magnesium, magnesium is a supplement that is realistically for many people underutilized. Magnesium is deficient mostly because it's not in the soil, so it's not in the main food. So magnesium, they say compared to 1950, on average, our food supply has 40% less magnesium than it did, give or take 70 years ago. Magnesium is essential for, and people often supplement for, to help with sleep. It's got studies that show that it can lower blood pressure. It relaxes musculature. So whether you talk about muscle pain or when it relaxes artery tension, which your arteries have muscles or are muscles, depending on how you look at it, that's how it can help lower blood pressure. But it's actually the 4th most abundant nutrient on Earth, yet it's not in the spots that we're as able to consume it. It also has issues for those that take calcium regularly, not in their diet, but in calcium supplements. So it can throw off your magnesium ratios with that as well, but very important for enzymatic reactions and quite a few other things. Depletion of magnesium is also linked to hormone imbalances and things like anxiety and depression. And so it can be tested in your blood work, but not very many people have ever had it tested. So consider magnesium from a quality source. We carry magnesium glycinate, which has a high absorption ratio, but there are several types of magnesium that you can consume. And it's a supplement that a lot of people could benefit from. If you're not sure if it would benefit you, ask us when you're here. Shoot me a message if we know you personally, or check with your holistic practitioner, whoever that is. Moving on to probiotics. Probiotics are something that would have also normally just occurred through your diet. So when people raised vegetables or fruits, probiotics were naturally occurring on them when you pull them out of the soil and clean them off. But now, because often the things that you buy are cleaned, and they're cleaned with, let's say, a water and with chlorine in it or something like that, a lot of the probiotics get washed off. Probiotic balance in your gut is also thrown off from things like consuming antibiotics for an illness. Also, the amount of antibiotics that are in non-organic or non-grass-fed or free-range meats is it's transferred to the person. Additionally, that's done in dairy, so it can kill the ratio in your gut. So most people do have to supplement with probiotics. Now you can get it in foods, say kefir, yogurt, sauerkraut, kombucha, but most people need to supplement. Our recommendation in general is to supplement with about 10 billion per day, which is why it's combined in our vitamin D and probiotic combination. If you do take an antibiotic, it's our recommendation, and I've heard Dr. Wolfson talk about it as well, that you should take a 50 billion or more probiotic for about a month. So let's say you had a sinus infection, or your child had an ear infection. For whatever reason, it was bad enough you decided you needed, or you went to the doctor and they gave you an antibiotic. As fast as possible upon completion, you should really be taking a probiotic with that as well. Now, what it does, or why probiotics are so important, is mostly related to your gut. So they help with vitamin absorption. They can help with mineral absorption. They can help with the production of certain things, like we talked about yesterday in the conversion from vitamin K1 to K2. They can affect your immune system. So it's really, really important. And also they can affect things like constipation if they're imbalanced. Moving on to taurine. So taurine is a very specific supplement that I would recommend you get testing for before necessarily just diving in and taking taurine. If you go back to our MTN or our mountain seminar, a lot of our clients who elect to do a heart health based mountain program end up supplementing with taurine after they're tested because they're deficient, and it can affect things like one of the cool things. So studies show like taurine can help reduce extra heartbeats. So things like arrhythmias and that sort of stuff that often people are put on drugs for the rest of their life for could possibly be treated naturally by giving your body the right nutrients to heal itself, which goes back to getting to the cause of the problem, which I hope by now for those regular listeners, you think about every single time you make a health decision is what is the cause, therefore what is the solution to this problem or to this issue. The last supplement talked about in the top 20 is red yeast rice extract. So red yeast rice extract would be for somebody most commonly that has high cholesterol and does not want to take a statin. So red yeast rice extract can lower your cholesterol. It does have some of the side effects of a statin, like it does affect the production of CoQ10 and things like that. But overall, way less side effects than statin drugs have. So red yeast rice extract would be a way, if you feel uncomfortable with the cholesterol number on your blood work, that would be a way to bring it down some without having the side effects of the drug. It finishes this chapter with calcium and why you don't want to take a calcium supplement for most people. So again, I think it's on page 215. I really encourage you to read the book yourself because you're going to get so much more out of it. But the calcium supplements, there's a few problems. Often they're done cheap. And by now, hopefully, you know, cheap supplementation is in some cases worse for you than no supplementation. Calcium has to go through a certain process to be absorbed. So for instance, if you wanted to absorb it from a bone, you typically have to boil the bone. That's why bone broth is becoming so popular. There's calcium in that. But for instance, like, why do you get it from red meat or from green vegetables? Like cattle, when they eat the grass, they absorb the calcium, they absorb it into their body, and then you get the calcium in a more digestible form from the meat. You know, on top of that, like when you consume it in vegetation, it's converted into a way that your body can absorb it. If it's, and I use this as a simplistic example, but if it's just extracted the cheapest way, which is typically from like a rock, if you take the calcium or the soil and don't take it through a plant or animal based system, that calcium has very low absorption rate, and it does have higher side effect rates. It can cause mineral imbalances. It can also absorb into places that you don't want it to. So I mentioned on one of the previous posts how calcium can absorb into your muscles, which can cause muscle pain as you age. It can also cause hardening in your arteries because it can cause inflexibility by that calcium absorbing into a muscle that's supposed to be more flexible, which can therefore affect blood pressure and things like that. So again, to get the calcium you want, get it from meat, or get several servings of green vegetables every day, or do that greens powder drink. So that's the completion of chapter 16. We only have a couple days left here. Going into chapter 17 is the last chapter, and then we'll do a couple recaps and be completed with this book. As a reminder, for those of you that are enjoying listening, we do have a supplement discount program going on this week. So watch the episode from yesterday. And for those of you that would like a book that are current clients, feel free to direct message me, post on here, or if you feel comfortable coming into the clinic, you can come in and pick one up. Have a blessed day.